Welcome to Game Talk Live. This is exciting. Paul, Todd, another day, another hour of gaming news at 5 o'clock Pacific.
That's right.
Thanks so much for joining us. Yeah, we've got some interesting news stories to kick things off here. First, arguably one of the bigger stories of the day. Huge news in the gaming world. Ultimately, will affect things in space and time. Goat Simulator has DLC coming soon.
Thank gosh.
This makes me very happy.
It's AI. The news is, within the next month or 2 months, probably a little bit later on this summer, there's going to be free DLC put out about this game. What's it going to look like, Todd?
I have no idea, but a lot of people asked, why would you make a goat simulator, Paul? Why would you?
Why would you not
chat
make a
people?
goat simulator? Here's some screens that they were put out to IGN,
Oh.
the guys at Coffee Stain Studios. So a couple of things.
Those guys
This looks
are
like you
gods.
get to wear a hat, but a couple of new wrinkles with the game is there's now a Bay Area. There's a downtown area. So here's the newest goat. They're calling this a goat, but it's
That's-
obviously a penguin,
No,
which
that's
is
called,
so meta.
No, Paul, you're so naive sometimes. That's called an Arctic goat. Everybody knows that.
And it's riding a boat, so that makes sense. So anyway, that's the business.
I hate to say this, Paul, but Goat Simulator is more fun than Titanfall.
Well,
am I
it's
the
cheaper.
am I the only one that feels that way?
I think he might be the only one that thinks Goat Simulator is more entertaining than Titanfall.
Yeah, that's probably accurate. Second story, arguably the biggest of the day. Far Cry 4 is officially a thing. It's coming out November 18th.
Nice.
Batter up. Ubisoft's heck of a year for those guys. They're going to have Assassin's Creed Unity. They're going to have The Crew. They're going to have Watch Dogs in a couple of weeks. And now officially announced Far Cry 4.
That's great. What's Julian Assange doing in this game, Paul?
Well, it's very topical right now. So
Speaking of leaks,
he's
why is he the main
DLC.
character? Or a very fabulous young Patrick Stewart.
DLC. It could be, who's it?
Oh
Siegfried
my
and Roy.
god, it kind of does look like Patrick Stewart.
It does a little bit.
And here's the limited edition pack.
But I'm a little trepidatious about this, Paul. I have a little concern. I'm a little afraid, and I don't know because
We don't know anything about this game. How could you possibly be afraid?
I can tell you why. Ubisoft has the propensity to kind of delay games. I mean, they had to polish Far Cry 3 up, and that was delayed. And then there's the Splinter Cell series that got delayed, and then Watch Dogs got delayed. And I don't think this is going to come out on November.
I disagree. This game will come out on time. It already has a release
don't know,
date.
Paul.
I think this is the business.
I'm calling it right now, folks. Mark this on your internet browser history that I am saying this game will be delayed.
Next story we're going to talk about comes from Game Informer. Sledgehammer Games, the guys that sort of kind of brought you Modern Warfare 3 and are now bringing you Advanced Warfare. Turns out that they had a third-person Vietnam shooter that almost went into development.
Oh. Wow. Yeah, that's too bad. It would have been nice to have like a third-person perspective on a...
This game sounds really cool.
Yeah.
This is I guess for those who aren't familiar with Sledgehammer, they're a team that came on from Dead Space. 2009, 2010, Activision brought them in to help Infinity Ward, which was kind of, not all over the place, but was looking for some help. During this time, about 6 to 7 months, they were working on another game, a Vietnam-style game that was third-person. It would have been a third-person Call of Duty game. But it turns out the reason, or one of the main reasons they stopped, aside from Activision pulling them into the project with Infinite Ward, is the fact that it was Vietnam. And it turns out that it was, obviously Vietnam War isn't very popular over here, but it's especially not very popular globally.
Yeah.
But I thought it was an interesting take on this. This is just one excerpt from the article from Game Informer. What's our next story of the day here, Todd?
I believe it's we have a new type of video game that features the head of Best Korea, Kim
Jong-un, right? How do you say his name?
I call him Dear Leader.
The Prime Minister, President, guy that will kill you.
No, he is the supreme leader. He is the personification, incarnation of all that is good and wonderful.
Play a little video here, AI. This looks like an actual game.
It is an actual game, which begs the question, are there any North Korean video games? There are now.
Homefront.
If you're just joining us, you are watching Korea Talk Live.
Oh, okay, wait, is that... Oh...
No, look.
This looks like a game.
This is historically accurate.
Okay.
This is not historically accurate.
On one hand, I like...
that was a unicorn twice.
I like Dear Leader because he's just a dude that likes pizza and Disney movies. On the other hand, he's
Not
really,
historically accurate. Fidel Castro!
He's really evil.
All right, so this is a thing. Oh, this is a nice graphic. Steam has sold more titles this year than they did in the past year. I said that as simply, yeah.
That's
They
a good
sold more
graphic.
titles this year than in the entire 2013 combined. Boom.
Yeah.
Steaming pile of games. That's right.
Well-
So here's the actual number. What is it? It's 200 in last month alone. Yeah, April. So the business here, and I don't think this is any surprise, Steam has already announced that Greenlight's probably going to be gone within the next year. It's going to become very similar, hypothetically, to the App Store. Come one, come all. If you have a game, upload it.
Yeah.
They'll find a way to regulate it. But everyone feels like this could potentially hurt the publishing industry because it becomes diluted. However, who it helps, Valve, why wouldn't they do something like this? I've said a lot. Guys, you want to weigh in on this? Do you have any other theories as to why games are releasing at such a rapid rate on Steam?
I think that the developers are choosing Steam over other platforms to release on, because if you look at other things like Origin and Uplay, they are sort of developer specific, so you have to play their games on that platform for specifically, whereas Steam's more universal. So maybe it is a good thing that more games are on Steam, because that means you've got less clients to install and you can just have one friendly client to do all of your games, so it's just less hassle for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you think eventually Steam's going to end up like a type of YouTube where everyone can just go there to find every game they need on all platforms, all space time?
It already is, isn't it?
Yeah.